Hello, I'm back with our third card, and this is going to be our Fun Fold card for the June card class. Again, I'm using the Cheerful Daisies bundle and the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper, so a really fun, sweet, and I'm also using the gems that go with that. They're called adhesive-backed solid gems, and then they're in some of the coordinating new colors. So we've got boho blue, lemon lolly, and copper clay dots to play with and add to our card. I kept seeing these cards all over the internet and wondering how they made them. It's really, really very easy, and so let me show you how these are done. I'm calling it a trellis card. Sometimes it's called a lattice card, but it's more of a trellis than a lattice, I think. So we'll go with a trellis card. And I'm getting all my pieces out here and ready to go. So I forgot to mention I do have extra kits available, so they're for purchase for $15. I can mail you a kit if you'd like all the pieces that you see in the envelopes when I grab them out. So we're starting with a half of a sheet of cardstock, but we're cutting it hot dog instead of the usual hamburger. So we've got it 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at 5 1/2. So that's going to be the base of our card here. But we need to cut off some pieces. So we need to grab the paper trimmer here. We're actually going to cut off 6 strips. And the strips are going to be 1/2 inch. So really, really easy. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I like to use on my paper trimmer this little bit off to the edge when I'm just cutting small strips. It just seems to be easier that way because you can hold the big part of your paper here and then just cut off the little bit. So it's handy to have that little extra measurements there on the side. So then we're left with this as our card base. And now comes the tricky part. We've got to add in all those strips. So it's been a while since I did this sample, so hopefully I can remember how to do it. I can actually read my direction here. So we're going to lay 4 of the strips horizontally in this gap. And it looks like I left a little bit from the bottom, so we'll put 1 there and a little bit of a gap there and put 1 there. You know, I wonder if it'd be easier to put my designer series paper in first, because you can actually see what I'm doing. Let me do that, because it's hard to see with the tone on tone. So we don't want to put this front piece on yet, because that's got to cover up one of the strips. But this inside piece, there's no reason why not to put that on, and then you can kind of see better what I'm doing. So we'll put on that a little bit. Isn't that a pretty pattern? That was one of my favorites, with the white and then the copper clay centers. Okay, now we'll start over again, adding the strips. So we'll add 1 there, 1 there. And this is kind of fussy because my fingers don't work real well, and so I keep bumping them. But we'll get there. It's really pretty easy, but just a little awkward with the fingers there. So we're going to have 4 strips. Oh, and that is a good idea to put my designer paper in there first, because then I know exactly where I want I line that one up at the top and then this one up with the bottom. Ooh, good idea. Okay, now comes the part where we add these other strips. Now, if you were not going to cover them up, you could put them like this and then just trim the bottoms off. But since I'm going to cover up this with my designer paper, I'll just go ahead and put my pieces all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so I've got 4 strips down and I'm adding 2. So I'm going to kind of estimate where I want those to go. Maybe I should just put my sample up there. That'll help me. And I'm already bumping my pieces, which is what I did the last time. Okay, stay there. Don't move. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 dot at the top where I want my pieces to go, and then a dot on each of the strips. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots all together. So there'll be 2 dots on each strip plus 2 dots on the top. And that's the part where you're probably going to be bouncing around your pieces. So we've got to make sure they stay lined up. Okay, and then we just add these other 2 strips right to where our dots are. Okay, and I'm just going to hold that for a second to make sure everything stays down. And the same here. So probably should have put that all the way to the bottom. Have a little bit of wiggle room while the glue dries. Okay. So wiggle those around till you get them just where you want them. Maybe it would be better to let them hang off the bottom, because then you can trim them exactly how you want them. Got a little bit of glue there, so I'm going to grab my adhesive eraser and get off that little glob of glue. Okay, I think I got them pretty even now. Hold that one a little bit longer. Okay, and there's my trellis. Yay! So a little bit fussy to get it going there, and I think I will trim off this one because I should have made them both hang over the edge, but I guess I want them to be even, so we'll trim that one off. And now we can just simply cover that top piece with our designer paper. Now if you want measurements for all of these pieces, they are all in the PDF, so just check out Guide 39, which is our June card class. Okay, if you have a kit from me, you should have the daisies already cut out. And one thing I did not do is go and poke out all the little pieces. So if you have take your pick tool, you might want to grab that and poke out. I mean, you can leave some of those little ones in there. They don't have to all come out, but sometimes I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I like to have all my little pieces and the die cuts cut out, but we'll just do a few of them just to make it even there. Okay, we'll do all from this one, and then that one I have kind of a circle of the little dots out of the way. All right, and again, I'm going to do the same thing I did on my first card, and that is just add some wild wheat ink on the centers. Now, if you were doing this kind of a layered effect, you would take the other dies and do this flower, and this flower, and layer them up. But I'm being a little lazy today and just doing one layer. So I'm going to add that in lightly because this ink is really juicy. Add a little, oh, I forgot I was going to try a different color. Oh well. Yeah, the boho blue would be pretty. But this is a traditional daisy, and they have that kind of yellowish center, and the wild wheat is kind of a neat color. Okay, so now when we're gluing down this, we don't want to put glue just anywhere because we've got our lattice there, so we've got to be careful that we don't get it through the cracks of our lattice, otherwise our card's going to get glued together. So let me just put some glue on the top pieces here because I know they will be all on our designer paper. And then what I can do is just lift this up and put a little glue in a couple of the spots that I know will be covered. There we go. And then the last thing, oh, not the last thing, but one of the last things is to add the gems to the front, and then we'll be done with the front. But I forgot, I think I did some stuff on the inside of this card too. So I'll just add one of each color because I can't decide which color to use. They all look good with this card. Okay, you have one piece left, and that is to put your greeting on the inside. And whenever I'm doing a fun fold like this, where some of it you can see from the outside of the card, I always try to distinguish the two areas so that you're not writing your greeting and then all of a sudden you've got all this messy writing or at least my writing's messy on the inside where it can see, we could show through on the outside. Okay, so what I did on the inside was I used one of our new in colors, copper clay, and this I think is the color I've been using the most because I have used up all my copper clay paper. Of course, that's because I've used it for class this time too. So wishing you the brightest birthday, and then my other favorite color that I've been using a lot, boho blue, and we're just going to add the outline daisy to the top and bottom there. And the daisy stamps actually have a solid and an outline stamp, so you can make them in two colors, which is really cool. But we're just using the outline here. So wishing you the brightest birthday. Okay, yeah, I guess they both look the same, so I did it right. All right, so the PDF instructions are in this group. I hope you guys try the trellis cards. So even if you don't have the daisy bundle, try it with some different flowers and try making a little trellis like this. So it's just 1/2-inch strips off the bottom of your card, and then 2 little pieces to hold them all together. And there you have it. Hope you enjoyed card class this month, and thank you everybody that's watching live. That really is cool. Sometimes I feel like nobody's watching me, but I guess there's Kim and Pat and some others. So hopefully you enjoyed this project, and I'll get these videos. Well, they're already posted in our private group, and I'll get them up on YouTube too for those folks that aren't on Facebook. So I do have kits left if you're interested in purchasing a kit, and it'll be mailed to you, and it's $15. And so you already have the video instructions. You just need stamps. That's the only thing that's not included is stamps and ink. All right. Have a great week, everybody. And if you are in Erie, maybe I'll see you tomorrow at the in-person class, because we'll be doing these same 3 projects tomorrow in class. See you soon. Happy crafting, everyone.